G'day, Skarvig here, and it's been a while since I've given an Atlas update. I've actually been taking a little bit of a break, trying to have a little bit of fun with some other games. I've been doing a no-team challenge on Ark. I've been playing some Valheim with the Mistlands updates, and there's a few other little indie games that I've actually been exploring. And there's quite a few actually coming up, which I'm very keen to have a look at. But Atlas dropped some patch notes. It's only a small set of patch notes, and I'd only really planned to basically look at these patch notes, mainly because there was some Xbox specific stuff in there. But of course, in true Atlas fashion, the day before the patch was due to release, they realised that something didn't quite go right, and they needed to delay it. So, what's so special about these patch notes? Well, it's simply that the Xbox players are going to have a cross-play compatible PTR server that they can join. You will need to fill out a form. It's actually on the patch notes webpage, where you can basically sign up to gain access to the PTR server. And this kind of a PTR server will mean that you have direct... I shouldn't say direct, but you have a closer link to be able to give feedback to the developers about Xbox-specific problems. And so for those people who play on an Xbox and still really want to give Atlas a go, you now have a chance to basically take part in that and give some more directed feedback to the developers. And that's the main reason why I wanted to cover this. Other than that, the rest of the patch notes seem to be around... The new items are basically just your Lunar New Year and Valentine themed items. So they created some new rabbit statues, stone, jade and gold, as well as a heart-shaped cannon. Well, heart cannon skin. I haven't actually seen it. In terms of bug fixes, they've fixed a few things around holes in water, the barn UI, and issues with ships sinking. In terms of the miscellaneous items, they removed Thanksgiving and Christmas stuff. Apparently grog is no longer crafted in water barrels, but rather crafted in cooking pots or grills. They improved the performance of some structures and items without actually listing what those structures or items were. Reduced the decay time from 12. This is fast decay objects now decay 10 hours instead of 12. It doesn't seem like a big material change in terms of fast decay, 10 hours versus 12 hours. It does change it a little bit, I guess, but fast decay, that's still probably within the realms of somebody basically going and having a sleep and then waking up and still being able to refresh things. Updated the team house UI to show the teams as a list. It used to be part of the circular radial menu, and if you had 100 teams in there, you had to try and somehow decipher which one out of the radial menu was the one you wanted, and so to make it a list is a lot better. There was a bunch of Xbox specific stuff where they had instances fixed of the tame structures causing Xbox to crash and being unable to use the tame structure option wheel, but at the same time, in terms of known issues, apparently Xboxes crash while viewing team information while the team is mating and gestating. The Xbox crashes while scrolling through the menu too quickly. Xbox players are unable to purchase some holiday items and unable to reload mounted weapons, which all seems... Yeah, that last one, like not being able to reload mounted weapons, is a bit of a kicker. It's an unfortunate one. So yeah, you can kind of see that when you even look at the history of Xbox and the struggles that they've had, and even though fixes have been put out, it's still basically Xbox feels like they're the dirty second cousin basically to the game. But I know that the developers are keen to make it work, and hopefully by creating a dedicated PTR and giving people a more dedicated line of way that they can actually provide feedback, maybe this will give them the information that they need to fix these problems, because they will be able to give Xbox specific fixes, I assume, to that one particular server and test them out and actually get quicker feedback, which would be useful if there's actually enough Xbox players out there who are willing to take that up and give them the feedback. But that's going to be pretty much how it is. At this stage, I guess that'll bring it to the end of the patch notes. There's a little bit more information in there, you can read it yourself, but the patch notes are very, very small. There's not really much going on in there other than the Lunar New Year stuff. And obviously these patch notes were only brought out mainly because of that, and a few fixes that were given for release were put in at the same time. In terms of my interaction with Atlas, I was always looking forward to the modular ships basically going through their overhaul and having their new graphics done. On the face of things, it looks like Atlas is full steam ahead on the Unreal Engine 5 conversion, which again is also a major thing. and it looks like they're going to basically do the UE5 stuff before they release in Q1, which we're in now. And I actually wonder, so we already had the delay. We were going to basically have the game end early access in December last year as the first roadmap, which then got changed that it was going to be Q1 was going to be the end of early access. But now that it looks like the Unreal Engine 5 stuff is really happening before the end of early access, I actually wonder if we're probably looking more like Q2, as they've got to basically release all of this to deal with all of the issues that the players then have to find for them, not only just their own QA people. Once they release it to the masses and everybody finds all the bugs and exploits, all of that sort of stuff will need to be somewhat fixed up before they end early access. And so, yeah, I am waiting for some of the more major releases to come out before I jump back in, at least on official. You may see me on some of the modded servers, as they seem to, well, yeah, you may see me on some of the modded servers. I've got a lot of other games I want to play. I do like Atlas, but I've got a backlog of stuff that I want to interact with. There's actually an event happening at the end of this month with a demo of a game called Aloft, which is floating islands, and they've basically got a major release on their demo that they want to put out, and they want people's feedback, so I'm probably going to do that at the end of the month. And so yeah, it might actually be February when I have the opportunity to look back and actually start playing some Atlas, but it will depend on the major releases. Hopefully by the end of January we might see a major release of some kind, whether it's the Unreal Engine stuff, whether it's the modular ship stuff. Hopefully it'll be something, because we're still waiting for a major release. Anyway, thanks for listening in and me waffling on about this sort of stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one.